Hello, my name is Pete Moran of Latham International. This is a Tru-tile installation video. I would like you to also go through all your materials to verify you have all your components necessary for the install. Here's where we're going to be preparing the skimmer. The Tru-tile system starts at the skimmer in all cases. Here I am applying 3 equal beads of NovaGuard on the back side of the track to adhere the track to the wall. You notice that the skimmer gasket has been glued onto the skimmer body first, and then the Tru-tile track goes over it. Here I'm installing the top skimmer extension. We have provided you with longer screws. Discard the OEM screws that come from Hayward or Pentair. You'll notice that the top skimmer extension is smooth, and you'll notice in the next couple of clips here that the bottom skimmer extension has ribs. The ribs will be facing outward. Here we're getting ready to apply the bottom skimmer extension over the gasket as I'm showing you here. And please remember to use the longer screws we provide with the skimmer extension kit. Here I'm applying a screw on both sides of the bottom skimmer extension first to get it lined up. And you'll just want to hand tighten all these screws at the end of the day. You will install all the screws around the skimmer extension, and then what I'd like you to do is duct tape over the skimmer extension to protect the screws from the grouting process. Right here I'm showing you that male tab right there. That is in the center line of where the bead goes into the track. As you can see, once again, the top skimmer extension is smooth. The bottom skimmer extension has the ribs facing outward. Here you'll be installing the push pins. You'll be using a 7/32 drill bit to drill the holes through the track and into the polymer wall or steel wall, as I'm showing you here. After you drill those holes, you will insert a little bit of NovaGuard in through the hole and then put the push pin in place. Here I'm preparing a 12-foot section of track with the 3 beads of NovaGuard on the back side of the track for adhesion to the wall. In the following frames, we'll show you how we're going to be drilling the track and affixing it to the wall using the push pins. Here's a piece of 12-foot track that's applied to the wall. You can see that one gentleman is drilling the 7/32 hole, another person's coming through squirting NovaGuard into the hole, and another person's coming through and installing the push pins and gently tapping them with a hammer to set them. As you'll see, this is a W pattern. The push pins go up and down, shaped like the letter W. At this point, this is a butt connection where 2 pieces of track go together. I've pre-drilled the holes in the track. As you see, the 4 holes. I am in the center line of where the butt connection is taking place, applying a generous bead of NovaGuard so that I'm sealing the track to the wall at the butt connection. Here I'm installing or putting a little bit of NovaGuard into the pre-drilled holes for the push pins to be put in place. Here we're installing the push pins. Now we've applied the second piece of track next to the first piece of track, meaning the butt connection, and we're drilling all the holes. Once again, 7/32 drill bit. Clean the track very nicely and apply a bead or a dollop of NovaGuard into each one of the holes, and then push the push pins in through the holes, giving them a light tap with a hammer to set them. What I've done here is I've applied a little more NovaGuard over the entire butt connection, and now I'm smoothing it out. What I want to do is have a seal on the back of the track, which was the first bead of NovaGuard at the butt connection, and now I have a seal on the front of the track, so we have a double seal going on. Inspect your track and make sure that there are no additional holes that have not been sealed. because water does get behind the tile job and it can leak through. Right there, I applied a little bit of NovaGuard on the bottom area of where the bead is going to go into the track, and just tooled it out with my index finger right there, assuring that no water can drip down through that area. Here's the installation of the step termination block, and that means where a piece of track ends at a step location. The piece of track will go over the gasket. The gasket stays in place. You have two pieces of termination block. You got the main block, and then you've got the bottom 1-inch tab. Right here's the main block. I'm aligning it to the very end of the track, and we'll take a Sharpie, a magic marker, and we'll identify those 5 holes. There will be an additional hole at the very bottom of the track, which we'll show you in a second. Here we've got the marked holes. You'll be using a 5/32 drill bit, drilling into the track, through the gasket, and into the step, and into the dead end block. Here we're installing that same termination block using the tri-lobe screws that we provide with the termination block kit. There is that bottom 1-inch tab. We're applying the screws to the top part and to the bottom. We'll be talking about rope caulk in a little bit, but I want you to understand that rope caulk will go here in order to seal the liner off. Here we're taking the 2 vertical faceplates and we're getting them lined up and in place, and we're marking them off. This cut needs to take place, but you want to make sure that you can see that the bottom of the termination block is in line with the top of the vertical faceplate. It cannot sit on top of the termination block. It has to be right underneath it. Here's an exploded view showing you what that all looked like. Here we're going to start the tiling process. What I'm doing here is I'm putting an X on the back of the tile, and we're going to be putting the tile in place. What I have used here is a 1/4-inch tile spacer, but what you want to do is measure your piece of tile and then split your 2 horizontal grout lines in half, and that would be the width of your tile spacer. Typically that is a 1/4 of an inch. What I've done here is I have cut custom piece of tile to go over my top skimmer extension. In a minute you'll see the completed view of that. Keep in mind, once again, you'll want to use some duct tape and cover that skimmer extension so that you're covering the heads of the screws, so when you're grouting, the grout does not go into the screws, giving you difficulty taking the screws out. Right here is showing a completed view of the 3 pieces of tile over the skimmer. Here is a completed tiling job.